The world is filled with thoughts, assisting and guiding in opening the crown chakra, the seventh chakra, which is the portal to the other realms and a non-physical seeing. The idea of many is to become both physical and non-physical and enter into the star worlds of the fifth dimension and beyond. Not to continue to reside only in a physical structure and be limited in linear time.
Alright, hello everyone. So, I just had a bit of extra time and I thought, what video can I shoot? I didn't want to do a better video today, so I thought, well, here's one, a bit of a filler that I have to do. So I thought, let's crack this one out. And so what is today's video on? Well, this is going to be the start of my 2014 adventure, hopefully into the woods around this area. So this is like Brisbane, Gold Coast and North New South Wales, Australia, the east coast of Australia. Now it's about the Psilocybin Cubensis, gold top coprophicious dung loving magic mushroom. This one here, and that's a magic mushroom, so it gives you quote-unquote hallucinations. Now, there's many reasons why we want to take this, and there's many reasons why this is really, really good for you, and that's not rhetoric. I can show you plenty of science for you people who always seem to need some physical evidence and can't seem to see things for yourself. And that won't be happening today. There'll be no evidence shown. That's going to be in other videos. I'm going to make plenty of videos on psychedelics in the www.consciousazine.com playlist. So this is part of consciousazine, and this is consciousazine on the site creator here at consciousazine. Now today's video is just going to show you the conditions needed for these little puppies to grow in the wild. So that's consciousazine. You can look through that. There's a psychedelic page. If you look through the more menu, there's heaps of pages. An alchemical shamanistic elocution page, and there's a psychedelic biodome earth page for, you know, scientific links and information on plenty of psychedelics. Plenty of different things. But today is just all about showing you the conditions, because it just so happens that at the eschaton, at the height of the eschaton, no less, 2012, you know, the 21st to the 12th, 2012, around that time I managed to find this field. I mean, it was all synchronistic. I'll talk about that in my video. You know, it'll be called something like The Boy in the Eschaton, and that boy would be me. Now, and so I'm Benjamin Cowberg from consciousazine, and so today we're pretty much just going to discuss what's needed to find these guys in the wild, and we're just basically discussing mushroom hunting. No, you know, scientific stuff or anything like that. So I found this field. Now, it's what I consider to be a perfect field, and I'm going to take you there. So I've just got to, you know, do this part of the video first, and then I'm going to have to wake up super early one morning, because this field is known, you know, even by the locals there. I'm sure they know that people pick there, and I don't want to get in trouble and caught by the, you know, who, obviously. And so I'm going to have to go there super early one morning, and I'm going to go down there and videotape it, I think, and just show you the conditions, and I'm hopefully going to find them this summer, and I think the conditions will be good this summer, because last year, 2013 summer, they were no good. There was not enough rain. You need, I don't know, like almost a week of rain sometimes. Just at least 3 days of solid rain. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I found this field, and it's perfect because years before that I had a minor collision with the mushroom in Byron Bay. You know, I ran into the mushroom. My friend from high school who I was visiting, who I hadn't seen in years, was taking us hunting near Byron Bay, Australia. And, you know, I had little doses, and there wasn't, well, I did have hallucinogen type effects, but and mainly just the medium dose orgiastic or CNS, central nervous system arousal, and that sort of thing, but it wasn't really heavy on the hallucinogen sort of side. I didn't get many hallucinations, and it wasn't deep in revelation and so on. Now, that was when we were making, you know, we were boiling them, and in the fields down there we had to go, you know, at least at 6 AM, because by about 8 or 9 AM they'd start to burn up, the little mushrooms, and they were really small, because the field was just a real sunny field. And the field I've found later in 2012, because when I had the experience in, it was probably about 2007 in Byron Bay, it was a little run-in with the mushroom, but in 2012 I had the full thing. And, you know, I had the full experience, and the big guys, I found the big mushrooms and everything. And that's why I need to make this video, to help people find the good ones. So, alright, without further ado, let's get into it. So you might want to look for a local website wherever you live, like something like this, where, you know, you can get your local weather, you can see radars, so you can actually see how heavy the rainfall is. You know, like the red there is pretty heavy, and the green is much lighter rain. So, you know, I know where the field is, like down here. Well, it's actually just off this map, I think. So I can see exactly how much rain it gets, because it's pretty important. And I found that out in 2012 when I was visiting this field almost every second day for about 2 to 3 weeks or so, right at the end of the eschaton. And so, you know, I sort of figured out a lot of stuff about this, because, you know, from self-experience, because I was going there every second day and sort of checking. And, you know, I managed to see, you know, it rained that much today, and look, they're smaller, and, you know, I sort of figured it all out. So there's a couple of things to note here. So, you know, you want about 3 days of rain. From what I remember, you need, like, I would say to you, look for about 40 mil of rain, at least 40 to 60 mil of rain. And you're going to get them. They're going to be there. You do, unless you have a field like this one that I'm going to take you to, you do want to go pretty early or super early, and you know, at least like 6 AM at the latest, start going and get to the field and start picking, because they tend to dry up under the sun, and psilocybin turns to psilocin, and, you know, some of the ephemeral compounds in the mushroom, of course, will degrade and so on. And if you don't know, you crack them to test if they're blue and all this. You know, there's a lot of research you should do. You shouldn't just look at this video and think this is all you need to know. This video is really just on climatic conditions needed to find these guys, you know, the climate that you need. So why is this field good that I found? Well, it's surrounded by trees on the outside, and what I noticed is these mushrooms don't even, in this field, grow in the middle. I mean, I went there so many times and they weren't there. They were only around the edge, and it was like a forested sort of edge to this field. Now, they only grow out of the Bos indicus cattle poo or dung, and that's why they're known as coprophicious mushrooms. And this field was really good because around the outside, and I'll show you that, but I'm going to explain it now because my camera doesn't have the best battery, so when we get out into the field of study I won't have that much battery and time to talk. So the field's really good because it's got trees around the outside and long clumpy grass. And so all this just works to, and broken down logs everywhere. You can just see that this is a perfect environment for any kind of mushroom, because, you know, broken down logs, mushrooms eat decaying matter, you know, and in the clumps of grass, you need that thick, clumpy grass, because it holds in the moisture, and it creates this layer of moisture down there, and they love it, and then the mycelium mass will go to the fruiting bodies, what we know as the mushrooms. They're actually the fruiting bodies. So you're eating the fruit of a god fruit, or the fruit of the gods, you know. An entheogen means full of the god inspired. So, and you know, there's many things I can say about these mushrooms. They're a connection to either our species overmind or the Gaian logos. Take your pick. I'm not 100% sure, but I would say both. And the reason this feels so good is because of all those conditions that make it moist and humid. Now, let's get into that, because at the moment here it's, what month is it? September. We're just in spring, the first month of spring here in Australia. You can see here a low dew point. Now, we'll explain what that is in a second, but it needs to be about 20. I remember it was about 20, and you can see it's 14, 16, 12, so it's just not enough yet. And generally the psilocybes start coming out here around November sometime. When it starts to get around that 20, you start to get about 80% humidity. They won't be there, I noticed, if it's not like 80% humidity, relative humidity here. You can see here it says 60, 50, you know, around 50 and 60% at the moment, and it's just not enough. So you need a dew point around 20, and you need a relative humidity around 80. I remember going there, sometimes they were there when it was like 75%, but they were smaller. So trust me, you really do want the high humidity. They seem to love it. You want about at least 40 mil of rain, but I would say to you, you know, 40 to 60 millimeters of rain. And like I said, a 20 dew point and an 80 humidity, relative humidity. So let's just check what that means. Relative humidity, ratio of actual to potential at a given temperature, moisture content of the air. So the ratio of actual to potential moisture content of the air. Then let's go to the dew point. The dew point is the temperature to which the air must be cooled at a constant pressure in order for it to become saturated, you see. So you want a high saturation point there. And it's too low currently, like I said, at the 12 and 13 degrees dew point. So yeah, I just wanted to say that to everyone. And as for temperature, well, you know, around November it'll be like 30 degrees and that sort of temperature. The lowest temperature might be, you know, in the high teens. See, at the moment in September now, 2 months before the season's starting, it's still 13 degrees at its low point, and it's sort of just too cold in the morning, because remember, in the morning these temperatures are, this is pretty much what the temperature is going to be when you wake up. So you're always looking for the minimum temperature to be around 20 degrees or something like that, and or at least the high teens, and nice high humidity and high dew point. And then at least 3 days of rain, except for if it's in the middle of the season. I noticed when it was December, they were coming out just all the time. You know, 70, 75 relative humidity, 19, 18 sometimes dew point, just because it was a higher temperature overall. So you are looking to balance all these factors, and you'll just have to learn your local area. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You want at least about 3 days of rain, you know, high humidity, high dew point. Look for all these things to sort of come into a perfect storm, so to speak, so they all sort of compress together to make the event occur. Now in summer, in December, in the middle of the season, in the middle of summer, or well, actually that's, you know, the start middle of summer here, that was when they were at their biggest, and you know, they were bigger than my hand, the cap of them. And that made for just an exquisite, unreal, amazing, euphoric, and the eros, erotus, this ecstatical love feeling. That's what it ends in. Yeah, sure, it starts off a little rough because you're facing how much of a jerk you've been, and I meditate into the trip, and then, you get the visions for 2 hours, then it goes more revelations, and then it ends in white light, the trip of the magic mushroom, of the Psilocybin Cubensis. That's how I put it. You clear out, and you clear out, and you clear out more towards the end. So I hope I've been able to help you guys, and I'm going to have many more videos on psychedelics, so look out for them. Cheers. So here we are. We've got 76, 75 relative humidities on Wednesday and Thursday mornings. Possible thunderstorm, possible shower for 5 days in a row, with reasonable percent chance of rain. And 1 to 5 mil, 5 to 10, so I know something's going to rain around here. I know there'll be some sort of rain around here, and some fields will hopefully pick that rain up. And then 1 to 5 even means probably there'll be something. We've got dew point 20, so we've made it to 20. This is what you want, a high dew point. 21 dew points coming. Epic. Let's hope that they come out. I'm going to scour as many fields as I can. I don't have that much money at the moment, but I'm gonna go past a field I saw this morning, and I'm going to go into all the fields which have bordered sort of forests on their edges, so that there's high humidity and dew, and it's a moist environment, yet it's going to be humid. And the date is 2014 November, so we're halfway through November. Will the mushrooms appear? Everything looks set, so this is what you want to check, all this sort of stuff. All these different all these different attributes. So a few days later, you can see now we're on the Wednesday, and yesterday it didn't rain too much. I had a look this morning because it was 21 dew point, 86 relative humidity. Still nothing because there wasn't enough rain, even though it says 20 to 40 mil. And remember, I was saying you want like 40 to 60 mil of rain. Still, even though it says that, in the specific area, and that's why I'm telling you to look at charts like this, in the specific area, it didn't actually get that much, I don't think, because I've been watching the radar all morning after I went for a little hunt, and the field I know is about here somewhere, and so I've only got a 2-hour duration of, you can see it counts up through the time. It shows you, it'll go back to the start in a second. It's a 2-hour window, there you go. That was when I was out there this morning, and now it's sort of cleared up, and you can see the red is heavy, and there was a little bit of red there and yellow, but where this field is, not much has happened. You see, a little bit there, a little bit more, a little bit more, then it starts to move away. So I don't think it got 40 mil, but I will have another look tomorrow. But that's why it's important to like look on a radar like this, because, you know, say you're looking out here, look, there's no actual rain. There might be clouds, but, you know, there's not even light green rain there. And so you need, you know, like red on the radar in the specific spot where you want to go, or prolonged yellow, or even longer green. Like it'll have to be like a week of green rain, light rain, or, you know, a couple of days of, you know, medium to heavy rain. Maybe 2-3 days will be enough at the height of the season. The thing is, at the height of the season, like next month in December, in the middle of summer here, you know, around New Year's Eve, and Christmas is the best time to pick these things around here on the east coast of Australia. And at that point in time, all I'll need is a little bit of light rain in the green zone around here, and they'll be out there. Because I remember in 2012, the last time I had them, and that was the time that I had the big batch, and you can see that on the Psychedelic Biodome Earth page in consciousazine. I've got the pictures on there, and they were really quite large ones. And you know, they didn't need that much rain. You know, it was raining maybe around these greens, I remember, and, you know, a little bit of yellow and stuff. But I didn't really need the really heavy rain because it was in the middle of the season. So now's November, so it's just not as humid, even though you could see that the humidity is picking up. So I mean, there was some mushrooms there this morning, but they weren't Psilocybin Cubensis. They were just some other variety. It might have been Cubensis, Psilocybe Cubensis, but I don't think it was. I think it was just a random variety. I don't know what type, but not a psychedelic. So, you know, this is what we're looking for. I'm pretty sure the temperature's high enough. 19 degrees should be enough. It's not too cold, and look how high the humidity is. So I'm going to go again tomorrow morning after it's been raining all day today, and we had a few showers yesterday. See, it might be enough, but it might not, because you need like 3 days of 10 to 20 mil. That's the best. That's what I remember in 2012. That was the best, when I had like 3 days in a row where it was raining on the actual field, on the spot, on the specific place where I was picking them, at about 20 mil a day, 10 to 20 mil a day. And that's when I got those big ones. And, you know, if it rained a bit lighter, like 1 or 5 mil a day to 10 mil a day for 3 days, the mushrooms would be there in the middle of the season in December, at the height of the picking season, but they weren't as big. And they do say here it starts in November and goes to about February, but there wasn't any in February. I remember in that season in 2012. I haven't seen any yet in November now, and look, we've got pretty perfect conditions for it. So it's just about being really humid and having about 40 to 60 mil rain on the specific spot where you're picking. Alright, I just got done hunting, and today I got lucky. So I didn't think it was going to be enough rain, but, you know, and I crawled into a field, and, you know, you've got to be very careful how you do this. You can't hang around in one spot for too long on one field, you know. And then I moved around the corner to another field, and then I went under the wire, the barbed wire, into there, and I ran around where, in a sort of foresty sort of part where there's a lot of wood. And I thought, well, this is all fostering mushroom growth, and there was big cow patties, poos there. Remember, they grow out of the poo. Then nothing, and then I drove up the road back towards one of the main roads to go home, and I see flat mushrooms, and went, oh, I think that's them, because Cubensis, I think it's the Psilocybe Cubensis, and I didn't really like it. Or it's something that looks like Psilocybin Cubensis a little bit, and it's this thinner mushroom, and it's not a Psilocybin Cubensis, the gold top ones that we're after. Now this other one, it comes up after about 20-40 mil of rain, but the Psilocybe comes out after 40, 60, 80 mil of rain, and more sometimes, depending on the field and the local microclimate. That's why I always look amongst logs and on the edges of fields as well. Sometimes you do have to go into the center. So this is hunting. You've got to hunt. And so then I saw flat mushrooms, and I thought, oh, it's not that other one. That might not even be a psychoactive Cubensis. I thought, this looks flat brimmed more. The top of the basidiocarp, the cap, is more flat brimmed, and I thought, oh, this could be them. Now here we go. Let's get the light on to see if we can see them turning blue, because that's how, yep, they're definitely the ones, and they're fresh from nature. You don't want it just grown. So there it is. I'll better turn the light on. So hopefully we can see a bit better now. It's got a tinge of yellow and orange there, and it sort of fades back into white. And then the edges will start to decay a bit, especially when it's wet weather, really wet weather, which is when you're looking for them. And you can see little bits of blue. Now if I crack the stem, I can already see it's got some blue, and we'll see it start to blue in a minute. And that's how you tell finally that it's a psilocybe. And also it's got this skirt. There's another little one. If we have a look here, it's got this skirt, so when you see them you always look for that. Sometimes they're missing. Now this is a good little dose. Yeah, it's turning like a light colour, sort of blue. Hopefully you can see the tinge. It's like a tinge. I can see it starting up. It's quite faint, but you'll see it's blue. Has a blue tinge that comes about it. I can see it forming. Hopefully you guys can see that blue tinge forming. Yeah, it's starting there on the inside. You can see it's definitely blue. See down in there? You should be able to see that. Okay. So it's definitely one. And you can see it's a bit hard to tell just from the gold on the top, because it's you know, you should be able to be seeing, guys, that there's a bit of orange there. Now they were all sticking directly out of the middle of the cow patty, and I'm sure that it's them because they're turning blue. They're getting that bluing going on. It's the blue bruising, and that's why I think the Indian god men, Shiva, what's the other ones? You know, the Indian blue coloured god men with multiple arms. Well, that's from stuff, that's what happens. You get spirit arms, like Michelangelo David's, you know, multi-arm drawing. Or was it, no, sorry, Leonardo da Vinci's multi-arm drawing, the Transcendent Man or the Star of David or something. Yeah, and I can meditate with those spirit hands while these hands are sitting out here or on my stomach or something. So that happens, and that's why I think there was a connection, and that's why the Indians hold the cows so sacred, maybe. And just some of that knowledge got lost, that there was these guys anything to do with it, you know, when the priests sort of usurped it, and then when they fell, all the books got burnt, and Psilocybin Cubensis, the name, was lost. And then they just started worshipping the cow for reasons they didn't really understand, you know. So that's my theory anyway. So that's definitely them, and you can see they decay really quickly. Now this is a good dose. I've definitely been given here according to my synchronicity and for jumping back into that field. So you can see on the little one really the orange in the middle. So this is 7 hours. This is, you know, a sort of small medium. It's like a medium dose. This is probably not going to be like really super amazing, but they're pretty heavy. and they're cracking blue really nicely, so you can see there it's becoming blue. And you know, when I first had these when they were small, they were like this smaller one at Byron Bay, but in the fields around here I get them a bit bigger. Now when I first found them, we boiled them down, and then we made the water into ice cubes, and we ate the mushrooms as well. So I remember the first time just a little mushroom, and then I had a few ice cubes. So maybe equivalent to that was what I had for my first ever try. No more than that. And yeah, and that was already like I saw the wall, like the whole environment, like go woo woo woo, and then I saw flames on the TV and all this stuff, and we had uncontrollable laughing for I don't know, a good cosmic giggle for a good half an hour with my girlfriend at the time, and we were on the couch and just couldn't stop laughing. So that's like an orgiastic dose, or a medium dose. It's orgiastic. It's CNS, central nervous system, your spine, CNS arousal and arousing. That connects to the bliss molecule, anandamide. That's what CBD and cannabis does too, CNS arousal. So these also work with the serotonin receptor, remember, and we'll go into that in Psychedelic Plenipotentiary 3, Psychedelic Science with a P, like Psi. And yeah, this will be 6 to 7 hours. I don't know how much this would dry to, not much, but wet, it's far more potent. Some of these compounds are very ephemeral, and they'll start to break down now, so I just take them fresh, and I want to get them into me. So I'm going to wash these with apple cider vinegar really briefly and quickly, and not underneath, because what I learnt on MasterChef, that Japanese show, the cooking show with the Iron Chefs, sorry, not MasterChef, Iron Chef, is that all of the flavour of mushrooms are in the spores, in the oil. So you're never meant to, if you're a professional cook, you're never meant to dip your mushrooms under any water. You can just dab them off with a cloth. So I think I'll take the advice of the top chefs in the world and do that. And that's pretty much how I've done it in the past. The best times I ever had it was that way. And that was in 2012, and I had a bigger one than this, a bigger cap than this, about 3 medium ones and about 4 small ones, and poof, that was post-threshold a big dose, and basically it was like 2 handfuls. So you can see this is really just 1 handful. So I had more the other time. So this will be good, and I can take this easily, no worries and no fear, because you start to get a bit jittery. I've done it several times already, but even I get jittery, so don't just keep yourself calm as much as you can, because it is fun and exhilarating, because you don't know what lies beyond. But this is one of my favourite things now. Not even just having it, but it's the after effects for so long, for even years after, you're connecting dots of what it told you. It's like it summarizes it in meta language, like the angels talk in vowels, not syllables or syllables. The mushroom also talks like in a higher way to you, when it can lower itself down and get very close and direct to you, or it can just be there as a sort of guide in the background, letting you wobble around in its domain or whatever's going on here. So it's very diverse. Now, oh yeah, you should be able to see that that's like blue where I've cracked it. It might just look dark black, but there's a light blue tinge amongst it all. So there you go, I got lucky today. There's not too much more else I want to say. I want to take them. Now, cannabis goes really good with this. If you take ayahuasca in the Amazon jungle, the shamans will advise you not to take cannabis. And it doesn't go with the ayahuasca vibe, and apparently ayahuasca itself has something against cannabis, or maybe it's a bit jealous or something, because they're both very symbiotic and efficient. But maybe it's jealous that cannabis is symbiotic to the human body's endocannabinoid system, and it's got deeper roots in us. I don't know. But it's a higher vibration, the ayahuasca, and it doesn't really go with the vibration of the cannabis, but this does. This also is a higher vibration, but then sometimes you'll get into a weird spot when it's too intense, and you can ask this to show you more of itself, and it will, like Terence McKenna said, and it's true, and it'll give you more. Say, I can handle more, and it'll check. And you know, have your notepad or your laptop ready for revelations and stuff, you know, off the end of it especially. And when you're very clear off the end of it, it's cleared you out. It's a full-on purging, but it's not as bad as ayahuasca where you feel really like you want to throw up. I felt a little bit of a stomach like because I'm eating mushrooms, and it's a bit, yeah, they're not my favourite sort of food because of the texture and stuff, but so I get a little bit queasy myself, but I know it's like when you eat medicine, it doesn't always taste good. Yeah, they don't smell the best, but here I go. Hopefully it's a good time. It looks like it will be. This looks like very friendly. So yeah, some of these compounds can break down really quickly. That's why I don't recommend you dry it out. The only reason Terence McKenna used to tell that to people, I reckon, is because so they'd weigh it, so they wouldn't go crazy and, you know, have a massive dose and just do something really stupid or something. You know, to keep it all a little bit, here's what I think for, you know, your first time, go 5 grams. First you try a gram, just to see if it reacts with your allergic reactions. Then if not, obviously then you go for it. Have as much as you think you can have. But the thing is, you should have more than you think you should have. So it literally blows your mind, so you don't want to feel like you're in control of it. That's not the point. The point is you're in its class, and let go and just have a look. Have a gander. So there you go, there's just a little bit of info on that. Now there's like, there's 4 main sort of compounds. I think 3 of which are all very quite similar, like psilocybe and psilocin and biocetin or something. And you know, it's all happening with the serotonin receptor, so it can affect things like your sleep, your mood, and etc. in positive and negative. So that's why we like to do it in a positive environment. So around good people who are, you know, good to you, on a beach, ideally at night in the darkness, because that'll help with the light, the inner light being more bright, less distracted from the photonic outer light and lights in the house. Yeah, just in nature is a good way to take these. They actually teach you a lot about nature. I saw a lot of networks, ant networks, all sorts of root networks. The idea of the Avatar movie came to me in a sort of different form, but basically that same form, that the roots of the trees are all connected, and it just teaches you like that, this one too. And it's also psilocybin, so it's usable for a bit of silliness. It's not just ayahuasca hard purging, you know, you'll throw up and all that, but it's a lot friendlier, this one, I find. So yeah, this is a good one for the first timers, I reckon. And about that much. Go for it. That's not even much. Like, this one will be nice and I'll feel it, and the others won't do too much. A bit of CNS arousal. You can get a deeper insight into things if you stand at the edge of the forest. The trees will suddenly, you'll get inside them, up and inside their soul. You're seeing into things. That's what all the psychedelics help with. And this one's good at that too. And it goes with cannabis, especially sort of around 2 hours after you take this. You'll probably feel like a bit of that. So, alright, enjoy. Now you can see the bluing. See how there's blue tinges there to all the edges? So that's how you know you've got them. And you've got that blue there. And there's some Suriname Brazilian wild bush cherries. They're really strong in flavour, so they're going to help me down these, and it's not too much in my stomach, because remember, you basically want to fast 6 hours or something before you take these, but I just ate something this morning, so I've got to wait maybe a half hour, and I'm going to put them in me. It's a nice amount there. So there you go, about as big as my hand. Well now, look at all the mushrooms in this field. There's a lot. They're everywhere. Now, I don't think these ones are psilocybes. So, look, there are other ones that look like psilocybin, but they're missing the yellow. Now, that looks a little bit yellowish. So, all you have to do is just crack the stem, and we'll come back to this, because I'm just in someone's field. And these ones come up after less rain, and I think the Psilocybin Cubensis needs another like 20 mil of rain. So these come out with 40 mil of rain, about that, and then the Psilocybin Cubensis, they need, you know, about 60 mil. Usually, like 3 days of rain. Look, they're everywhere. See, but they're not the Psilocybin Cubensis. So this is just another variety. I don't think this is psychoactive. I don't know if it's edible. It might be. Let's just have a little quick look over here. Yeah, it's all those ones, see? See, and then there's some white one. Now that's also not a psilocybe, and that's definitely not what we're looking for, that colour. So as you can see, there are other ones apart from Psilocybin cubensis, so we do have to be careful, because I don't know if we can even eat these ones. Well, there's no Psilocybin cubensis by the looks of it. But this is what the Psilocybin cubensis will look like, except it'll have more yellow, and it will be coming out of the middle of a cow paddy. So there's no cow paddy there, so we know that's not a psilocybe. So there you go. I did do the other 2 times that I found the Psilocybin cubensis in the last 2 days. I did that at spur of the moment, so I didn't have my camera. So I thought I'll quickly go for another look, but I can't find any Psilocybin cubensis, just all these other varieties of mushrooms. And there's also a taller, skinny variety that grows out of cow paddies at about 20 mil of rain. That's also not the Psilocybin cubensis. So I'm going to go ahead and hop out of this field. Benjamin Kallenberg from consciousazine.com, just trying to help you out. Because, you know, we need to learn how to identify these things so people don't get ill.
From the light of the central sun, the new rays of cosmic energy and activation enter the solar system through the sun down. In this moment in time and space, the sun has returned to a balance point, where it is freely understood to be connected to the core of the Earth through the alignment along the central axis of the galaxy. In the astrophysical relationship, the Earth is moving into conjunction with the galactic center. The sun is located in the constellation of Gemini on the summer solstice. Earth is now transiting the opposite side of Sagittarius. You may accept and awaken now. Accept your beliefs and the messages that are being received and sent through your being and by your being. In reading, hearing, feeling, seeing, believing, and sharing these thoughts, you are given transformational power. The vibration of your world increases through the communication of information. Share the vibration and feel your bodies change through the acceptance and integration of this energy. It opens and brings enlightenment. Whether the words are simple or the vocabulary is complex, you are wise and understand that behind the words are feelings and beliefs that are opening your higher centers. Let yourself fall and surrender into the waiting arms of the divine that loves and brings you peace and solace. The open door is there for you to move through, and the higher light is calling you. We are one, and in this oneness our message is to surrender to the impulse to let this happen. There is nothing to fear, for the timing of the great transformation has begun, and now you are found in the enlightenment. The path is quickening as you are drifting toward the new dawn. The new dawn brings to light that which has been prepared for many ages. What has been prepared is the knowledge and ability of creation. Reaction on this plane of existence has been predominant for billions of years as the third dimension.
And the goal is to end up like this, in the presence of the mushroom. And I get the feeling that it's a whole lot wiser in direction than us silly monkeys. It's like already looking out at stars. And I just put the question to it, how does this all work? And it's like you get condensed down. Like the mycelium mass is a Borg-like collective from Star Trek, that notion of the Borg. A Borg-like collective of mycelium. And they have a hive mind, which makes the mushroom's mind. And it's like your cells do that, and they can hyperspatialize and hypercarbolate. And we get a light body. And I get the feeling it's pulling you over some portal. It's like an energetic membrane. When you flip through that other side there, it coalesces. All of the light from each one of your cells in your body, and it coalesces there. And it can grab your heart chakra. It did that to me before. It grabbed me and one of the pieces inside me, because I cut it up. One of the pieces wanted to grab me, of the mushroom that I ingested, wanted to grab me and take me somewhere in the universe. And it was a little dark, so I said no to that one, and I kept talking to a sort of mindedness that was like an old gnome, that part of the mushroom. So I get the feeling it's a collective and a hive mind, which is similar to how your cells work in your light body. There's information being transmitted there for sure, you know, beyond the brain and the nervous system. Because that's what these trips make you very aware of. And you just want to be quiet and listen, and you don't look good on the outside. Look weird. But on the inside, it's all about what you're feeling. And so you can come back. See, I can come back. You want to let go and fall back into it and have fun again, and have the visions and looking in the eye. Okay. So I just wanted to show everyone, yeah, you can come back, look, I'm still here, hello. You feel really weird while you're doing this though, and you see yourself in different light and in different ways, and you see the universe in different ways. Okay, I've got to go and enjoy this. Man, just teaches me so many things. I'm just flat on my back at the moment. It's just teaching me so many things, you know. And I feel really good too, obviously. It's that wavy, very sleepy, hazy, hypnagogic, REM-like state of third eye invigoration, CNS arousal, all of that going on and culminating in such experiences. It's just, you know, the heavier the dose. This isn't really a heavy dose. I'm just trying my hardest to lay into it and enjoy it and you know, actually experience it. Because I've got to do some video recording here, but I'm trying to enjoy it myself as well. Sorry if I don't look like I'm looking you in the eye, because where the camera is. But, you know, it's really good. Just to show everyone, you shouldn't be afraid of this. It's really, it's trying to pull you back, lay you down, and tell you what the deal is. Seriously. Which is kind of the opposite to what the outside world is doing with their heavy indoctrination. It doesn't feel like that. It feels very loving, and it's like you can take it or leave it, what the mushroom's showing you and what you're experiencing on the mushroom. You can leave it behind. It'll just move on to someone who can handle the information, I think. That's the feeling I get. It'll just go, oh, forget you. Here's some dancing mice and something, you know, good to look at. But right now, you know, I can feel it. You'll come back out, distract yourself with the outer world, and you'll feel a bit uncomfortable and queasy and stuff like that, and dizzy even. You need to go back in. See, right now, if I lay back and I go back in, there'll be visions. Every time I get that sort of feeling over me, is because you're holding on. It wants you to let go. It's not making me sick. I feel just fine. Great. I feel like in a warm state. Very warm. I'm a little bit dehydrated, but I don't want to have anything else to drink because I'm just enjoying the light of the mushroom. Pretty much. Yeah, it will show you so many things and so many places and some of the best art you've ever seen, and then you can go into that art and the whole resonances of the art, so it helps you see things, see into things and see meaning. It helps you feel adumbrations of time too. That's what I've discovered on this very trip today, that it's helping you to feel the time waves and odd resonances. Like a girl just turned into snakes for your hands, and when I looked at the last expression of her, she had a snake sort of resonance, like she was not happy with me and about to strike or something, you know. Now, this is all spiritual reality, not lifestyle, but spiritual reality is symbolic, and you've got to learn to see nature's symbols, and this is the light in nature. It's not going away. The more we ignore it, the further away from the truth we walk, you know. So that's why I bowed for studying these things, and you know, in the laboratory, but experientially, of course, too. Because in the laboratory, you're not going to get the visions in the petri dish. What, hook up some system where it displays on a monitor? That's how far away you can see that these people want to distance themselves from this friendly thing that is like wanting to help them. The mushroom just wants to help. It's just funny. How stupid we are, honestly. Like, it just wants to help. And it's just really funny how much we sort of go, no, 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 we're silly monkeys, we don't need it. Like we know it all or something. And it just wants to help. You just take a handful of these mushrooms and it'll show you all this stuff inside in your eye. You'll connect all these dots, you'll get shown things, you'll get taken places. You'll see inside of things, like it'll give you an image set, maybe a painting, and then you'll see inside the resonance of that painting. It will show you meaning, something beneficial, if ever there was something, you know. So yeah, I could keep recording, but I'm not going to make this a long-winded trip report. You know, people make trip reports and they can't even interpret their own trips. Be focused. Let it take you over and think again. Think what it might mean, because it's not wrong. If it shows you something, don't go, oh, that doesn't make any sense. It does, trust me. It's only up to you to see it. You've got to make sense of it. And it's not too far from you that you can't. You know, the mushrooms, mycelium, or this light that is somehow transversed into these molecular structures of the psilocybin and working with the serotonin and whatever's going on here, it actually feels like light bodies are connecting. I think it's way beyond biology. I think it's my light body connecting with the mushroom's light body, which is, like I said, my cells and its mycelium mass connecting, like in a hyperspatial sense, in a higher aspectual realm of ourselves. You know, it's light, and it's numinous. It's not photonic outer light from the stars, the photonic sort of surface light. It's this inner numinous light, and you connect to the light body of the mushroom and it shows you all this stuff. And it's like a wave, it's a presence. It's not like a little mushroom standing there saying, hey guys, we've got to get past cartoons, you know. See why I call us infant humans? People get offended. I say, you're an infant human. It's because they don't even know. They don't even know that they don't know, as Noam Chomsky says. They don't even know that they don't know. But, you know, it's just trying to tell me something. It's like pretty much just, come on, come back in here, leave them alone. So, you know, we've got to get past just seeing things on the surface. It's tickling me back in. And we've got to really think what's going on here. And sometimes it is stranger than we can suppose, but that's what I'm saying. That doesn't mean it's erroneous. It means that it's stranger than we can suppose. That means our supposing is shithouse, right? We need to get better at our supposing. So, these are a very friendly mushroom. It can seem a little overwhelming at the start, especially when you're in your first stretches and undulations of the waves coming over you, when you've just ingested it. And that's because you're releasing all the toxins, and just like when you go running, and you release toxins, sometimes you get dizzy and you need to drink some water. Well, instead of drinking water, try and sit through it, because we're trying not to dilute what we've ingested, because it's special mushrooms. But yeah, normally if you're exercising, you get that dizzy toxin release feeling because you're or after yoga, do a yoga stretch and you get that toxin release feeling, the dizziness. That's you, that's your toxicity, not the mushroom. So we've got to stop blaming the mushroom. It's friendly, trust me. This just, you know, again, this is my third sort of summer of interaction with it, and I'm certain now, you know, beyond anything, I'm certain that it's friendly to us. It's here to help. Anyway, didn't mean to sound a little neurotic off the end there, but it's here to help, and it's because people are neurotic. You know, so it's really here to help us, and I feel like I have to write a dot list You know, it's not the way the mushroom thinks. It's not in a dot list. It's thinking much larger. You know. Oh, it's funny. Anyway, take it for yourself. Experience it for yourself. It is enlightening and mind expanding. I get the feeling. Oh, I get the feeling that it wants to unknot all of your psychosomatic knots. Sort of very, very healing, and it will even clear you out so much that you can really feel Kundalini tickles. Some people won't be able to feel the Kundalini tickle. It's so clogged up, so stiff, and so far away from that. Anyway, this is a not just enhancement. It's not enhancing. Well, it is, but it's not just. It's much more than that. It's not just enhancing you know, your shamanistic abilities, as I say in Psychedelic Plenipotentiary 2 lecture, one of my lectures. It's not just shamanistically enhancing you and your light body and, you know, your witchery, your mind, your soul mind, your chakras and all that. It's not just enlightening you in that way and for your own elucidation. But it goes much deeper, you know. It makes you an explorer for your species, and it makes you figure out the universe. To some degree, we're figuring out, configuring and confabulating the universe with the help of the mushroom. I think that's fantastic and amazing that it's in our environment. And I don't think like this as deeply without it. So I don't want to just say it's an enhancement, it's a friend. It's like you're sitting at the table with someone while you're on this. It's like the mushroom's here and I'm here, and we're like talking about, I don't know, astrophysics or something, you know, and an important conversation. And it's showing me into things. That's important. I'm being shown meaning. The meaning behind resonances, like, when someone freezes in that snake pose, like a girl will, you know, give you that look. Well, this gives you this ability to see into that. I'm guessing if I had a higher dose, insofar as I'd be able to connect what star system that energy came from or something, like, do you know what I'm saying? It would get really specific and intense, is what my guess is, if we heighten the dose. And it's scary. I'm scared to heighten the dose too, but I don't know why, you see. So I'm just gonna do it one time. Today I only found that much, and I was content with not going everywhere and looking for more. But, you know, one day I'm gonna heighten the dose. I'm gonna see what this is all about. Because, and it's hard, because it's, remember, showing you your own toxicity. So the less toxic you are, the more of benefit the mushroom can hence be to you. The clearer you are, if you're a clairvoyant, you know, spiritual person, well, the mushroom will help you with that. Trust me. And it's not just about whacking out, yeah, I can do this right now too, and go, you know, but that's like, I'm not a baby. That's like being the body and being the undulation. What I'm being is the light behind all of that. There's information there. There's visuals. Notice. You know, focus pocus. Your magnus opus. No, focus, and have the focus there coming out of the eye. Have that focus there. That it's beyond Zen because it's a zing. Zen is like zoom. I can see into things. And then there's something else like a zing. Beyond that, I can see it. It's a very focused light, like a cord of white light. A white stream of information or something. Anyway, getting. Well, I like talking about that stuff because it's interesting. I was going to say I'm getting off track, but I'm not. This isn't one of the serious lectures, you know. I just think we need to open up to this, and right now I'm wasting my valuable psilocybe tripping time talking to you guys. No offense, but I should probably turn it off and get back into it and see what else it's got to tell me. Have a good day. You know, let me shuffle closer. No, I'm going to stay there. Hope you can hear me. You know, the darkness is something. You know how the light is something? I think one fundamental mistake we always make is by being so naive, thinking, no, there is no darkness. That's how good the illusion of itself is. You know, so just like the light is something, and most people, you know, adhere to being able to see that. At least most people can see that far. You know, the dark is also something. So it's not to be dismissed and ignored. Because that's how it can sort of build up its presence, I guess. You know, the world is about more than tabulating and, you know, bullet lists. What a shallow life, you know? To be living like that, it's so shallow a life. You barely dove into being. Hey, that's what it's like. It's like you barely dove into being. Oh. You know, be here, be fully. Don't be under someone else's control and in this matrix. And you can see then that wise old saying, it's not death, but, you know, what worries me more is what we let die inside of ourselves while we're still alive. The soul death, you know, being pressed from the matrix and the soul death. So lastly, I want to say sorry for if I'm ever being the darkness to you, you know. Yeah, I know it's come over me and I've done things like that myself, you know. But not to turn this into a confessional, just let it go and realize that it's a shell. Let it fall away like the shell that it is, you know. So, in Lakesh Day, which is, I've synthesized and made a portmanteau of In Lakesh and Namaste. And wow, I just too realized how lovely that light coming through the window behind me looks. And it's like there's this backdrop light right now that's inside me. That's how it feels. Inside me or over to the left or to the right of me, I don't know where in spatial coordinates, but there's this light. It's better to speak of it as a space. It is its own space, where I'm conversing with the mushroom. Remember earlier I said it's like it's sitting at the table next to you. Well, what I mean is, it's like when you're at the table with someone having a deep and meaningful conversation, you're mind melding. You're melding your mind. And so there's a space inside where I'm melding with the mushroom. And that's in the background, like that light is in the background of this video, which I just realised it's really cool. It's like an angel coming through there. I shouldn't laugh at that. And see, when I laugh like that, that is the darkness too. You're trying to make a joke of it, and it's serious. It's not a laughing cosmic giggle matter. Yeah, gets a bit like that sometimes. And that's where you reach the cosmic giggle, and you just realised, oh, let it all go into the cosmic giggle. And then I just realized I'm visualizing my bloodstream from like, well, I think it's my bloodstream or a sort of blood network from my third eye. Looks like I'm looking into my body and and viewing that. Anyway, it's like little networks and capillaries. Now a pine cone. Yeah, the symbolism of the pineal, I understand. Now, you see, we've got to come back to that childlike consciousness. That's what we've lost. That is the indigo state of mind, that childlike, innocent consciousness. Now, I was about to laugh at the mushroom there. So, I'm coming to realize the darkness in myself right now. Tisk tisk, like, when you do that to well, you shouldn't, but my parents, I remember, done that to my dog's nose, like, no. When he would pee somewhere, but just like, just like that. We shouldn't be so violent. Why we've got all these people in prison? It's not the way to treat someone. It's not going to alleviate anything that's going on. I shouldn't laugh because it's unreal. And we've got to come back to that childlike consciousness, and being real innocent. Because it feels good too. Science has really, really done a number on us. And I think it's because it's such a surface-friendly thing. Yeah, we can inspect it, so we know now. The cosmic giggle's just in the background going, oh yeah, do you? But yeah, back to what I was vibing. Before I was interrupted by the mushroom there. And the cosmic giggle. Yeah, we've got to come back to this more innocent, childlike consciousness. Stop saying, oh, we have to know. No, we don't need to know exactly what's going on. You don't need to know. In order for it to be happening, you don't need to know. Now, yeah, knowledge is power. And I agree with all that. I'm not just some haphazard crazy person, so to speak. What's a crazy person anyway? We're not going to go into that today. But yeah, that's that whole darkness and this matrix entrenching over us, like trying to put itself on our back like a dirty overcoat, like a trench coat of oil and lust and greed and ignorance. This dark age just trying to put itself onto you. We've got to really try to shy away from that, and I apologize sincerely to the people I know, and I know I've been the arbitrator of, I'm not perfect. I know I've been the arbitrator of the dark side, so to speak, now and then, and as are most people, and this should be forgiven, and it will be forgiven in the grace of where we are up to now, consciously speaking. We will forgive people, and it's like a shell. We've just got to let it fall away into the bliss. See, we're not falling away when the system, the whole money, fiat counterfeited, debt, monetary, fictionalized, fractionalized banking system collapses. We shouldn't be scared. We're collapsing out of a Ponzi scheme, not into the universe, which is a Ponzi scheme. And the thing is, we are a little scared because we realize inherently we haven't been taught how to eat from nature. We haven't been taught meditation in grade 5. Instead, we were taught maths or English or something, right? So, get it together. Get a grip on what's actually, worth something, So we're not just, look at him, he can calculate, he's a good human calculator. give him a job, a high-paying job, and the thumbs up by the invisible hand of society. Give him the thumbs up. He's authentic now. He can do some calculus for me corporate and be part of me fascism. And, oh God, when you take this sort of stuff, it eats up the bullshit so quickly. So I recommend everybody takes, a handful of fresh Psilocybin Cubensis and you start seeing through things. Because it puts it all into perspective. It helps you sort of put things in perspective of what is real and seemingly unreal that people attach to, right? Money and cars and stuff. And even saying it gives my biology a bit of a, ooh, okay, yeah, I do kind of want it. But then you're going to realize you are not that biology who's been indoctrinated to those frequencies and whatever is going on there, the parasitical nature of it all. You're not the surface, and it's like a parasitical nature. What's going on out there? Think about it, where everything is being shoved off in order for money. So it's a de-diversification and inward resource cannibalism, like using oil to gather coal, or the other way around, instead of using solar power to power a wind turbine that's on a not windy day or something, It's the opposite of that. It's resource cannibalism and inward diversification in our system, and it all just comes hurtling back to you and hurtling back to Earth. How far off track we've gone. We've walked and walked like this easy path, but it's only easy because it's got energy thrust behind it. That's why it's so seemingly hard to turn it all around, because it's just where we put our energy. Like thoughts create reality. You think imagination a painting into being, and it moves through your body to make your hand move and so on, etc. examples. But yeah, it just comes all back down to earth. Really, what's worthwhile? Really? Chasing? You're trying to tell me you're not an infant human when you're busy all day being distracted to pay for paying the state. People are so far in debt and taxes that they are living just to be that slave. Now I've broken free, and look at me, can't you see? I'm a free man standing or something, huh? Not kneeling at the end of history, I'm standing. Which has been quite a quest. It has been difficult, because the matrix is the matrix. It's everywhere, that system of control. Watch the movies. Just like when I say zeitgeist, it's not just a word. It means spirit of the times, but there's movies behind that too. And, that 3 Zeitgeist series, same thing. Wow, it's just, I don't know. For me right now, yeah. And I can get like dimensional interplay happening towards the end of the trip, or as it wears on, and you see in and past things and past the surface, and that's what's going on here. I'm sure that's what's happening here. You're being shown inside of things. That's what psychedelics help you with. I'm pretty sure it's in general. You can say psychedelics help you see into things. I'm pretty sure you can make that statement after my usage. And hence they're symbiotic and they're angel given. Oh, they're so not from the dark side anyway. Oh, it's like lightning in my vision right now. Right, I'm being shown more stuff. I'm going to switch the tape off and enjoy my inner visions. So I hope this was probably where I'm going to leave it. I hope, I can talk like this for hours and hours, and it's a state of letting it flow through you. you know, I guess I should document this last bit for the people of the future. And what if I'm dead? This body is gone, and what to do with me when I'm dead? Well, see, psychedelics help you as well to deal with all this stuff. It's funny where the cosmic giggle enters. You keep seeing a smile come on my face because the cosmic giggle's in the background, and it enters all the situations in the end, you know. The cosmic giggle. It'll enter situations in the end. In the end. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. Fuck, I naturally said that, but... So, you know, what I think's happening here is we're seeing into things, and it helps you with death, because it helps you with moving on and fluency, you know, so you don't get stuck and identified. And it's going to be horrible. I just realized to have compassion, because some of you really are like stuck to the surface like flies on flypaper. I used to make fun of it, you know, when I was a bit younger in my awakening, so to speak, but in the whole timeline awakening and the whole Zen enlightenment move in your life, you know, when I was younger in that sort of move in my life, I used to, you know, maybe hang a bit too much shit on people. But it's to make you see it, but like, yeah, I guess it doesn't really work so well because it just hits people's brain barriers and then reflects off. So if I'm to make it go in, I've got to be compassionate. You know, I do realize this stuff. It's just sometimes harder to implement. Anyway, that's my personal life path, moving from a Syrian light warrior sort of ideal to more of the family of love. From the family of light to family of love. Anyway, that's a different story. You know, all this psychedelic taking, you know, it's not just for useless endeavor. And it's not just, you know, a very periphery thing. It should be something central to our life. Almost like a sacrament on a Sabbath day, you know. Yeah, it's quite holy when you find them in the field. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, you get waves where you need to be drawn back into the sleepy, hazy wave of the mushroom. And it'll fill you with new ideas and show you even more. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. It won't fill you with anything. It'll show you even more. It'll glide you over it. You can attach if you want to and explore ideas further. Anyway, what I was saying before is some of you, it's going to be traumatic when you have this sort of stuff. You're going to realize how far off track your life has gotten and how much you've been had. Now, to you people, I give you a big hug. It's okay. You know, it's just, I think, the time of when we're alive. Wow, I can like see through my body right now. I'm seeing is everyone seeing that on the screen, or is that just me? Wow. I'm seeing through what I'm looking at as me on the screen. Now it's coming back. I was seeing that curtain through myself. I was actually... Wow. You just gotta sit in that silently for a second. Wow. Whoa. How does that compute? I was just seeing as if my face and stuff wasn't even there. I was speaking from such a high perspective, I think. I'd forgotten even what I was talking about. The light became so bright. So that means I was really being that. Oh, here it comes again. I don't know what I was... Oh, yeah. what was I talking about? How people are really stuck. Yeah. Now, I give my blessings and with all of my heart, you know, and I give you the biggest hug and sincerest hugs and kisses right now, and comfort and love and compassion. When you've realized, when you realize how off path you've, gone, well, what do? Well, you connect with nature. There are some of the steps you take, because you can get into a panic mode. Firstly, calm down. Yes, the matrix is all around you and it's hectic, I know. But now you're like found a little love child in the light, and the angels are looking at you. So, firstly, calm down and relax, and feel the connection. If there's any sort of higher voice, maybe your higher self, or higher selves in another sense of communication, it could be just listen for communications. So you just listen for communications other than the societal brainwash. Sorry, I was reverting back to talking to those brainwashed. So this is what I've got to stop doing. I've got to remember I'm talking to the people, the converted, who have already been converted and sort of awoken. So you get back into connection and touchy-feely with nature, and you'll start to lay back into a bed of light. That's your bed of light. That's your path, and you'll see along the way from now on, you'll see yellow brick road, and it's your yellow brick road. Do you understand? And the bricks, they're your bricks. They're your little dots and pieces of the puzzle for your life and for your path coming together. And, the psychedelics, they can really sort of not only enhance the visual aspect of this, seeing stuff like this in your life, but also help you, brighten and actually be in that space where you can see the bricks, and in your visions, the psychedelics work with it and help you connect more dots into it. Now, it is extra environmental information. However, because you're inside yourself all the time on the trip, or on the psychedelic mushroom trip like I'm on right now, however, because it's inside yourself, it's it's gonna be surrounding your magnus opus and helping you. It's gonna. Oh, I feel really good right now, and I'm seeing through myself again. Is that just me, or is it... Oh my god, I swear I'm like fading into the screen. That must be my third eye. That is not happening on the screen right now, is it? Like, I'm looking like a hologram on the screen. That's intense. I can only see basically my eyes. I'm like fading into the static of the screen. Oh god. Oh yeah, I think I'm seeing some of my resonances. Oh, I'm seeing an Indian. I've never really seen Indian of me before. Oh my gosh. Like those spiritual drawings, guys? Well, right now I'm seeing that on the screen while I'm recording right now of myself, and because I'm looking at myself while I'm recording, but oh my god. Yeah, and I can let it happen. Now I'm seeing animal, pig, horse kind of creature right now. That's just resonances of the past. Or is it what I've eaten? No. The resonances, like a gnome resonance right now. I'm seeing flash, sorry about that, I'm seeing flashing through resonances of myself, I think. Right then, right in front of you on the screen. That's hectic. I've got this recorded. Oh god. Oh. This is my work, I guess, you know, this is the good part of my work. Of being a shaman. I get to record trips, and wow, I need to stay back with that because I'm seeing like another layer. This is hectic. Like I'm literally seeing like another layer beyond me, and I'm seeing pattern right now. You guys are probably not seeing this and just seeing me looking weirdly into the screen. I do apologize. Right now that's just turned to purple, and there's like these stripes, like those stripes there of that, similar, like the stripes all the way up, almost, oh wow, like you're going beyond a veil or something. Just weird. It's like a matrix veil. Anyway, once you wake up and stuff to the matrix, you got to be careful because they'll pinpoint you. When you're using your imagination, they see you. Remember Einstein said, logic will get you from A to B. A to B. Logic. Imagination will get you everywhere. So Einstein said that. So, just another one of the greats, which I believe I myself am one. Are you guys listening yet? We're here to help you. We're not here to just like talk down to you, and that's what I've realised I do a lot too much of too. I'm talking to idiots all the time, and I apologise for my viewers. I've got to stop doing that. I've got to realise that I'm only here to talk to the masters, to talk to those already converted, and so on. The souled humans, not the matrix agents of unconsciousness. So I do apologise to those who are following my path and my teachings. So you've just got to realise how humble a psychedelic can make you. It's like you're going into your temple. Like right now I feel like in a temple. I just had that feeling. I feel like I'm like in my temple with the mushrooms, we're conversing and we're sorting out my stuff, and it's like a counselling session as well. So now I'm bringing this video back to the body level for you people listening, how it will affect you. It's like, so you don't have to get a psychoanalyst for, I don't know, however much you pay those people. You go to the mushroom instead, and you have your temple. You've got to be alone while you do this. Your day of Sabbath. And, you've got to be alone while you do this. And is it just me, or is that invisible through me? Can you guys see that through? It's like my body's a hologram. What the fuck? Oh. Isn't that light? Now it's gone. Must be me. It's probably so not you guys seeing that. Wow, it's like I keep disappearing and becoming like a hologram and fading back into like everything. Really weird. I'm a hologram right now. That's tripping me out. Trippy. I literally like look like a hologram. Or is it just me? It must just be me. Interesting. Anyway, when you awaken, you're gonna realize it's all around you, and so obviously build your skills arsenal. Don't worry about what they're talking about. Get a job this, get a job that. Oh my god, the headache of responsibility of know you are part of this matrix. It tries to reach back onto you. It's like when you quit sugar. When you stop sugar intake, your candida and your yeast and mold and fungus, they don't like it. And all those little parasite critters in your body try and make you eat sugar again. It's just like the matrix does the same thing, you know. So obviously the matrix is a parasite. It's a parasitical thing in nature, because it doesn't have energy of its own, and even the movies, the Matrix trilogy, they suck energy from the humans, and you know that's what it is in real life. Like real life right now. Well, I've got to come back to here. But that's what it's like. It's like a matrix, and it's like a surface virus that's out of control. And you know, if you think we've got problems when the cyborgs come, we'll have even bigger problems, you know. So just recognize what's going on here. Let's see this matrix and deal with it. And I mean, that's easier said than done, because some people listening will probably be the matrix listening, and now I've made myself a target, and it will seek to crush me throughout my life. That's very scary. So at least in the surrounding times, well, you know, of 2014, what time it is now, seek to stay low key, because I don't know why I keep putting myself out there. I think it must be that light coming through the curtain and those angels or something, because otherwise I would be just utterly crazy. I think it's because this is my path, and this is what I'm suspecting. Well, I keep getting thrown back. I keep getting like thrown in front as a representative or a plenipotentiary. This stuff is all so crazy when you go inside, and it's so humbling, and it's like, wow. The depth of the dream, you know, the depth of the great dream of reality is just unreal. The ever-winding depth, and why? Oh my god. So, just stay low-key, and God, I wish I could have my own advice sometimes. Live my own advice sometimes, you know. To those seeing me in the future, yes, be steady on the path. So in 2014, the 29th of the 12th, this is what comes up when you Google Psilocybin Cubensis. And this guy, it's not my video, some random person I don't know by Australian Shrooms, and he's showing you the bluing of the cap, of the gold cap Cubensis. There you go, you can start to see the blue there, really a lot. Beautiful! So there you go guys, that's just how easy it is to identify these guys. The Psilocybin Cubensis. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and you could take something from it. And just lastly, here is Jason Silver. Being his usual fiery self as he freestyles his way into the complex systems of technology, society and human existence. So anyway, let's listen to this.
psychedelic is usually associated with mind-expanding chemicals, consciousness-expanding drugs that grow on the earth. But the root of the word psychedelic actually means to make manifest the mind. Now you can see why psychedelic substances, bring our visions into being. We call it active hallucination. So is this not in many ways the same thing as our imagination? And is technology not in many ways a manifestation of the human mind, embodying imagination, the actualization, the rendering of our hallucinations into existence? The creature that ate the mushrooms and then started doing art on the caves is the same species that hallucinated starships into existence. Technology is literally psychedelic. It literally is outsourced cognition and how we extend the boundaries of the human mind. The goals of mind expansion, the counterculture 1960s ethos of expand your horizons, transcend your reality, make that cognitive leap is no different than the manifestation of our information technology. Google is the first psychedelically informed superpower. Its visions of interconnectivity and interconductivity, repository of all of human knowledge, becomes almost like Gaia, like a collective consciousness. So again, the whole notion is that we should really come to understand that the whole psychedelic revolution from the 60s ended up being literalized by the information technologies that have transformed our world over the last 30 years.